Digital health isn't just about the digital part of it. We know that there's healthcare involved too, and what better way to kick off this conversation than to talk about the weight loss frenzy right now. Joining me to talk about that and more is the CEO of Noom, Jeff Cook. Jeff.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
It's great that you're joining us just a couple months after taking the job. This should be a really easy interview for you.
Let's hope so.
Listen, I know that, weight loss is huge right now. It's your bread and butter. Everyone thinks that GLP-1 is just going to take everybody else out of the equation. You think otherwise. Tell me about that.
Well, GLP-1s are an interesting drug, right? They're extremely effective. But unless they're paired with behavior change, you're on them forever, right? And I think most people don't want to have a forever drug, especially one that's quite expensive and comes with side effects. And so today, the reason we're at the health conference and what we're announcing is Noom Med for Enterprise, which is our clinical obesity solution that pairs with behavior change and has tapering off of the drug built into the program. So we see this coming tsunami of costs, right? 4 in 10 employees suffer from obesity, 3 in 10 from pre-obesity. You can imagine as demand for this drug and the supply starts to increase and the demand is overwhelming, that these costs can really swamp the U.S. healthcare system. And so what Noom Med for Enterprise is designed to do is to allow payers, PBMs, employers to have a solution that really treats kind of the whole person, right? Allows us to triage some people into Noom healthy weight, others into diabetes prevention, and for the clinically obese into Noom Med.
Why is that an important part of the conversation? Because, it seems like a lot of people see this as a silver bullet. They see it as just a single solution. Not that necessarily it's a forever drug, but I'm just going to reach my goal, my weight goal, and then get off of it. And then what happens after that?
Yeah, I mean, the studies for medication removal, absent behavior change are quite clear that you get kind of instant, more or less, very quick weight gain on removal. And so, but paired with behavior change, I think that's where the amazing results are. And so, we're super excited to see the Med as basically a way to kickstart, to your point, but to kind of continue that momentum with the behavior change so you can come off it. I think most people do not want to be on a GLP-1 for the rest of their lives, at least right now. And
while they're still injectable, right?
And while they're so expensive. Yeah.
And then this employer solution, tell me about that, because I think, to your point, employers are shying away from it. Payers have been shying away from covering the drug because of the potential runaway costs associated with it, especially now while it's still expensive. What do we need to understand about the behavioral part of it and, building around, support around these kinds of solutions for employers to understand that they need to invest in?
Yeah, I think it's clear that payers are deciding they have to cover the drug, right? These are, obesity is a clinical condition, right? This is something that's critical to people's lives, and so in a world where you have to cover the drug because it's the right thing to do, then you're looking for ways to be cost conscious, and you're looking to create a center of excellence. You don't want people to necessarily come to the drug through any which fashion. Potentially from your primary care physician, potentially from some fly-by-night telemed company. What you want to see is them come through a program that actually works and that has tapering built in. Now, of course, there's going to be people who taper off and then may need to come back on, but that's kind of the world we live in. Denying access to such an important drug is not feasible.
To your point about fly-by-night, there's a lot of competition out there. You're not the only ones doing behavioral. There are ways to hand off to other digital platforms or to in-person services. What are you doing to stay competitive there?
I mean, we're building Noom to be the ultimate companion to like a GLP-1 course of care, right? So Noom starts off with this tremendously powerful behavior change that's been the subject of many different academic studies, and so it starts in a very good position, and we're in the process through our chief of medicine, Linda, in really building into it all the things that are most relevant to the GLP-1 course, like things like eating more protein or engaging in resistance training so that you don't lose the muscle when you lose the fat. And so those are really important. But then it's important to also build into that curriculum and that course how to taper off of it. And there the guidance might change, right? The guidance becomes more about maybe macros and while still continuing your movement. So I think unlike many that are just kind of fly by night, offering instant access to the drug, we actually have a proven coursework.
Well, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that. Jeff Cook, CEO of Noom, thank you so much for joining me.